Shalom, shalom. If I can be heard, give me a 1. Shalom, brothers and sisters.
Shalom, shalom. If I can be heard.
Well, I can hear me, so I know I can be heard. I had to sit there and add it to the stream. All right, now, brothers and sisters, in this particular presentation, take heed to your friends. We're going to read a couple of parts from the scriptures in Jeremiah chapter 9 and in the Apocrypha in Ecclesiasticus chapter 6. Again, for those who did not hear, when first starting, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Lachem. Let us start in Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 1, and it says, "Oh, that my head were waters, and mine eyes a fountain of tears, that I might weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them, for they are all adulterers and assembly of treacherous men." Now, there's a couple of things to point out in this, brothers and sisters. Who claims this particular history? Who is able with, though not happiness, comfortability to be able to claim this particular matter of a people, about the slain of the daughter of my people? He is talking about the daughters of Zion. He is talking about the daughters of Israel that were slain. Now, be it take it physical slain or spiritually slain, our people, our sisters, the women of our people, slain. In Jeremiah, it also says, "They have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people, saying, peace, peace, where there is no peace." When a said black man does the wrong thing, you can see it online, you can see it offline. Girl, don't deal with no man. Let's go swirling. Let's see what other men can sit there and have. So when you read in Jeremiah here about when it says, "For the slain of the daughter of my people," our sisters, our women, and this is no disrespect intended, are dead. And when I say that, brothers and sisters, I am saying that if you take maybe a case study, perhaps, ask them about happiness. For instance, in the Bible, when Leah gave birth to Asher, she said, "The daughters of the land will call me happy." I'm reading for those who just started listening in Jeremiah chapter 9, and we read in verse 1, where it says, "Oh, that my head were waters and my eyes a fountain of tears, that I might weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people." For instance, in our day and time, when the drug trade thing went on, you would find that some men were saying who they would have wanted for wives just shrivel up and become like nothing in a matter of months. What happened with that? When you begin to look at it academically, do you see yourself with a brother? Nah, niggas ain't bleep. They play games. They're irresponsible. They're this, they're that. And so forth and so on. So if you start talking nationalistically, and this is no thing to be sexist, we can say in general terms, our sisters are dead. And what I mean by that is this. The opposite of dead, obviously, is alive. Are our relationships live? Or just existence? Is it a thing like brothers and sisters in the movie that Tyler Perry, for what he's worth, put out? we just tolerate each other? How can we, as said Black people, relate so much to a movie put out such as that? To be able to sit there and see ourselves in such a case. For the slain of the daughter of my people. There are females, and this is not again to be sexist. There are females who do not get along with other females. Some call it being catty, if you will. Like it says, they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people. If we can go over in certain cases the things that have hurt the daughters of our people, you know good and well, in certain cases, her boyfriend liked her and her daughter in wicked terms. And a mother then sides with the dude because she doesn't want to sit there and be without somebody. Or she's jealous, sadly, of her own child. Or in the case of the scars that many sisters sit there and do have. The inner pain, if we will, like it speaks of as stated in Jeremiah. They have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people, saying peace, peace, where there is no peace. So, while in that particular way, and in that particular case, let us continue. All that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them, for they are all adulterers and assembly of treacherous men. So this is no disrespect, but let's say if we look at it from the aspect that many have about camps or congregations. Israelite camps in many cases that we see today are branches from other camps. While we are in this society, who wants to sit there and be treated in a said Israelite organization like they're treated with the job of the Europeans? How are you coming with the same spirit of the employer to the brothers or the sisters? What would make David not want to keep New Moon with Saul? Saul's saying in so many words, oh, David, I didn't see you at the table at New Moon. You didn't bless us with your presence. Saul, there's a reason why David did not want to sit there with you. Do we ever, like my lady was telling me, about taking the matter of accountability? When is that done? So we can begin as brothers and sisters to begin to heal the hurt that we have caused, and so on. Let us continue on. We are in Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 3. And they bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth. For they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, saith the Most High. They bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth. The truth in the scriptures is the law of the Most High, says Psalms 119, verse 141 or 142. Instead of trying to gain the truth, you have it to where, as it says in Jeremiah chapter 5, for among my people are found wicked men. So they feed upon it and regurgitate the same disrespect. And then in certain cases, when they're asked about it, this is what happens. Let's read on. Take ye heed every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother. For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will talk with slanders. and they will deceive everyone his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity. There are those who go out of their way to make sure that something is not correct. That is talking about a certain type of character that some people do have. We are not supposed to sit there and entertain ourselves with such. To those who are in the room, shout out to the sister, my lady Sarah Michaela, and shout out to Tamika One. Brothers and sisters, we're not going to read much more in Jeremiah chapter 9, but just wanted to point this out for edification purposes. There are those who you can trust, those whom you cannot. I'm going to read in Ecclesiasticus. In Sirach, in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, and not going to read the whole chapter, and we'll close out momentarily. Just wanted to go over something real quick. It says, in quote, instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby shall thou inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull stringing alone. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 in the Apocrypha. For it says, they shall eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. You can't have, quote, your cake and eat it too, brothers and sisters. So let's go on. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Be in peace with many, nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000. When you are seeking advice, make sure that is from a person that has your good intention in heart. Make sure that it is not a naysayer or an opportunist. Make sure that it's not a person that's just around when you're only happy, or a person that's just around only when you're not happy. A friend is one that will be there through, quote, thick and thin. In Hebrew, the word for friend is this word here. I'm going to type this in the room, but in English letters, right? The word for friend is chaber, which comes, brothers and sisters, from the word chabar. Does anyone know what the word chabar means, brothers and sisters? So that's something we want to point out in that particular case. The word, brothers and sisters, means friend, kabir, right? And brothers and sisters, as my lady pointed out, the word kabar means to tie. You might see this also with the word quashar, meaning to bind or to tie. But what are we saying in this particular case? That friends are binded and tied to each other. So a true friend is not one who is only around for an opportunity matter, but rather one that is there through, quote, thick and thin. So let us continue on and close out. We are in Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, and it says this. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, Some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. What is that saying? There are those, and it's not to slander anybody, who do slander their brother and sister. Then when they come around them saying in person, yo, this guy is such and such, they start kissing, brown nosing, no disrespect intended, if you will. But on the other side, it's something different. There are those who do have an evil eye to their brother, but their fierce speech is different, like the Most High said of Israel. They praise me with their mouth, but their heart, you can tell, ain't feeling it. You can't fake love. It's something that comes from within. It's a natural emotion. It's an involuntary action, if you will. So, not every dollar is a good dollar. Not every view on YouTube is a good one. And not every quote unquote flattery / compliment is a good one either. So let us go on. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face. Those are the kind of friends that are needed as much as a bullet shot. Not everyone, like Malcolm pointed out, they're friendly to Black people. They're not your friend. But our problem that we're talking about now, Jeremiah was talking to Israelites in chapter 9 and that part there. Sirach is addressing his own people. The Levites on the Day of Atonement, the high priest, he has to atone for his own house. Israel, we got a clean house because the house will evict you when the Most High comes to do his work. The land of Israel vomited out its inhabitants due to the wickedness of the Israelites. And Israel was scattered from one end of the earth to the other. So what do we want to point out, brothers and sisters? Let us not, Israel, be fake one with another. Don't sit there and be a friend part-time. And know, like it says right here in Ecclesiasticus, when it says, be in peace with many, nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000. If your said friend, as we've already pointed out, Kabir means friend, from Kabar meaning to tie, if he or she does not support what you're about, that's not a friend. They're friendly. Oh, hi. How you doing? Or the other aspect, when you ask him or her how they doing, and they say something to the effect, slanderers on the slide. I'm well, thanks for asking. They don't ask you back though, because you can't fake love. See, generally it's call and response. How are you? I'm well. I'm dealing with something. And yourself, how are you doing? That's call and response. But when your said friend doesn't ask you back how you doing, it's not an accident, brothers and sisters. That's why you be friends with many, but have counselor of only one. Because there are those who would take the respect you have for them and mislead you. Like it speaks about in Jeremiah, oh, that I may be alone, so I won't have to sit there and deal with this, that, and the third. So, brothers and sisters, in closing this out, we want to again say Shabbat Shalom to the house of Israel. Remember, like it says, if you would get a friend, prove him first. Because acceptable men are those who go through the furnace of adversity. And when times get tough, the weak move and the tough stay. That which is real will show itself to be such. So we have to bear in mind what a true friend is. One who has respect. When the Ark of the Covenant was stolen, there was a Levite woman who named her child Ichabod. Ichabod means no respect, or there is no respect. Ask your significant, this is just my advice. Ask your friends. I don't mind constructive criticism. Let me know what you think. Ask your significant other, what does he or she, depending upon your gender, we keeping it hetero, does my disrespect or my respect become higher? Which one is it? Ask those questions. Just like jobs give you evaluations, have yourself evaluated so you can be graded. And don't sit there and think that everyone is against you, but do know that there are those who are haters. So those who have, quote, passed the test of what a true friend is, that's who you can sit there and get the truth from. And not like the prophets of Ahab. It will be well, Ahab. It will be well, Ahab. You got a bunch of yes men. You don't want a bunch of yes men or yes women. You want someone in your corner and in your circle who can rebuke you, as it says, in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor, and you shall surely rebuke your neighbor. Because you can't fake love. So when you try to hold it in and hold it in and hold it in, that you never addressed your brother or sister about, and then you come off disrespectful because you held it in, now it leads it to a whole other matter. Try your best, Yisrael, to not let things fester in, because it too, ulcers can cause physical problems. We don't want that. We don't need that. We need shalom. Shalom emet, true peace. Truthful peace. So be open, be teachable, but just like said on the Hebrew class, pick your teacher. Because there's two different types of moray in Hebraic thought. And I want to put that out there, if we will. There's moray, that means teacher. See that in Proverbs 5. And then there's moray, that means rebellious. Like the son that is stoned in Deuteronomy 21. This our son is stubborn and rebellious. Who moray was so rare. You have to find out which one of you. Are you a moray that's a teacher? Or are you the moray that Deuteronomy 21 describes as rebellious for no good reason? When you find out you're incorrect on something, don't shout it over like, well, you know, we all no. Speak your truth. Be true to thyself and speak it. My bad, I made a mistake. I got corrected on that. Thank you for that. But again, remember, everybody who is, quote, your follower or in your circle is not in your corner. There is a friend for opportunity's sake to get your business, because he or she, believe it or not, has either jealousy, hatred, malice for you, which is ridiculous. You can usually tell in certain cases because they'll never support anything that you're about. But ever so often, I'm here. No, you're not. On social media, it takes less than 2 seconds to share something. In real life or for social media, Israel, let's reach out more to each other than just on the Shabbat. Well, let's just wait to Shabbat because you ain't going to tell me you off on that day because it's a holy day. And I'm going to make myself busy. As Jeremiah says, is Israel a homeborn slave? I'm at the job. I really can't speak. but you play Moray on Shabbat. Can't do that, Israel. Can't do that. Time, like my teacher, Kohi Mikael, said, time tells a story. That which is wishy-wash, that which is flake, will flake off. Ask any teacher in college or in Israel. We can have Hebrew classes online and they still won't participate. You know there are black people, and I say this in no disrespect, pardon the language. There are black people who will not allow a brother or sister to help him or her just so they will never have to admit that a nigga helped them. They rather be without or know less of a matter than say this brother or sister helped me. So they rather have less or be able to do less while they sit up there, which is a sad case of arrogance, just so they would never have to acknowledge that, quote, a nigger helped them. That's not the way we're supposed to be. Israel is a people that's meant to be interdependent. Each of the tribes have their own function with each other. It goes like Voltron, if you will, if you remember that old cartoon. Bone to its bone. The 12 tribes of Israel comes together. It forms a mighty army. The army of economics, the army of diligence, the army of working, the army of resting, the army of building. And if something isn't for you, it just isn't for you. But don't be that snake in the grass that is, well, because it ain't for me, it shouldn't be for you either. That's not good. That's not growth. That's not being productive. Shahrazad Ali wrote a book. She's a Muslim woman. She wrote a book called The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. In that book, she said at the end that the black man feels he's disrespected because of slavery. She said that's not because of slavery. She said the black man is disrespected because he is disunited, disrespectful, and unproductive. When Shahrazad Ali was on TV, to my knowledge, she had to be escorted out the Donahue show in the background because of the things that she was saying. We need a bitter pill. We don't need, brothers and sisters, what Ezekiel was saying in the same premise of what we don't need. Ezekiel 33, that love song, make it sound good. We don't need black entertainment television. You see, when Empire went, that sodomite sat there. He helped destroy the whole show with his lie. We don't need black entertainment television. We need black economics and black education and black entrepreneurship and black growth. We have been clapping hands in entertainment for so long. And I'm not saying don't be happy. I'm not saying walk around miserable. Because we have a tribe called Asher in Israel, which is the tribe of happiness. Asher means happiness. So I'm not trying to portray that we should be hermits. I'm not saying that we should be, I got to sit there and meet. No one singing the trouble while no, that's not the message of brothers trying to bring forth. But I remember telling people not too long ago before I close out, and it gets a little personal about my relationship. Take on the good that you had and build upon it. Take what is not needed and get rid of it. Everybody don't mean you well. So be careful. He shamer, as we say, and take heed to what? To thine self, says Deuteronomy. You understand? I know I've seen a meme before. I should have put it up, but I didn't. There's a meme that says, and we're going to close out on this. They have an image of a female saying, girl, leave that nigga alone. Be single like me. And that was something that was going around. Then on the opposite side, there is marriage ain't even sacred. I ain't got no time for these. We don't want to use the word they use for females. We got to end that kind of curse. Just as much as Israel did things to bring the curses on us, we can sit there and do things to get them removed. So with that, Shabbat Shalom. To the people in the room, to my lady Sarah Michaela, Shalom to you, sweetheart. To Dorayahu, brother, Shalom to you. To the sister Tamika, and to anybody else who will listen. I'm open to constructive criticism. Shalom.